Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to the Champions. Now, here's your host, former Dallas Cowboys great Preston Pearson, number 26, along with co-host Cowboys superfan Nathan Ross. Here we go.
And here we go. Welcome, everyone, again to the Champions. And let's jump right into it. Let me go ahead and welcome my co-host, Nathan Ross. Nathan, how you doing?
Man, Preston, I'm doing so great. Another amazing guest today. Guest after amazing guest. So excited.
Well, you know he's a part of the Dallas Cowboys great, what are we calling it? The Great Wall of Dallas, right? Mm-hmm. So that comes from the old concept, the Great Wall of China. What do you know about the Great Wall of China?
Well, Preston, I know it's about 13,000 miles long and in spots 15 feet to 50 feet high. And it was built to keep out potential enemies.
Okay.
I do know that.
So why don't we roll that tray and give our viewers a chance to take a look at the Great Wall of China. It's a series of fortifications, and I want you to pay attention to some of the words I'm using as I describe the Great Wall of China. Fortifications that were built across the historic northern border of ancient China. The Imperial Chinese built this thing, and it was built to protect against various nomadic groups. The wall was built over centuries by China's emperors. Today, it stretches for thousands of miles and is one of the most notorious structures in the entire world. I wanted you to hear a couple of words in that description. Notorious, fortification, protection.
Yes.
Those words are keys to our special guest today. And our special guest today is 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl winner, and perhaps, certainly at that time, was the biggest of the great portions of the Great Wall of Dallas. May I introduce you guys to Nate Newton, number 61 from the Cowboys. Nate, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate
Welcome,
it.
Nate.
How y'all doing? I mean, it took all that just to describe one man. That must be some power there, and that fortification, and all that protection. Notorious. I mean, you would press come with the man. Why I got to be notorious? Oh my God! Man.
Well, listen, the Great Wall. You cannot tell me that you, Eric Williams, Mark Tuinei, Stepnoski, Giesig, and certainly Larry Allen, you can't tell me you guys weren't notorious.
Yeah, we
because you were.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, we were pretty decent. Thank y'all for having me on.
Well, we appreciate it.
Let me be a part of your show.
Before we get started, Nate, we just instituted a new concept in our last episode, which featured Darren Woodson, and it's called Ask a Pro. So we have viewers from previous shows, perhaps even for this show, that have a question that they might want to ask to you. So we're going to turn this over to my co-host, Nathan Ross, and he's going to present Ask a Pro.
All right. Well, on this segment of Ask the Pro, we have Michael Mack from Fallbrook, California, and his question to Nate is, Nate, what was the most angry you ever saw Coach Jimmy Johnson that you can remember?
After any loss, especially when we first started building the team, whenever we would lose a game, the first 2 seasons with Coach Johnson, I mean, you just never thought the guy would get over it. You think he would probably bust a vessel in his forehead or his brain or something. It just every loss, and and whether it was an act or not, it's just you couldn't talk to him coming back from a flight. You preferred them home game losses because you could hurry and get out of the locker room within an hour after the loss. But them flights coming cross country from California, especially from New York, from the Giants or Philadelphia, we had to deal with this cat, man, for 2-3 hours on the plane.
Oh.
Food coming slow. Back in that day, we could drink a few beers. Beers get to you, they hot. I mean, this dude was any loss would bring on volcanic type eruptions from this cat.
Awesome. Great answer.
Now that's 360 degree to your first coach, who was Tom Landry, right?
Yes.
Landry certainly wasn't like, not that I saw.
No.
Hey, listen, Landry never said a 4-letter word in the years that I was around him. Never. But
Impressive.
I know, because I've been out to practices, Jimmy Johnson said a few 4-letter words.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Coach Landry, man, gentlemen, you won the game and great, and we'll watch film, but gentlemen, you lost the game, and that's a bad thing. We'll watch the film and we'll go over it, and that was the humiliation with Coach Landry. He was offense and defensive coordinator for real. I mean, everybody had titles, but he was sitting in that film and press to tell you on Monday, and we would sit there, man. You had to watch the offense and the defense. And he would call out no matter who you were when you made your mistake, and it was a part of losing that game or something that wasn't technically right. He was calling you out in front of all of your teammates. That
probably hurt. Well, certainly just as much as somebody yelling and screaming at you and calling you all kinds of names. But they both had their championship way of coaching a football team. And I believe that the guy that they just hired from a defensive standpoint, and we'll get to this, Mike Zimmer, comes from the Jimmy Johnson bowl of coaching.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. This is going to be fun, man. If we could, let's start out this way, Nate. We know you went to Jones High School in Orlando.
Yes, number 1 high school in the country, in the world, and in the realm of all. Yes, J-High, Tigers, to the day I die.
Tigers, okay.
Yeah.
So you are a football player, basketball player, baseball, and wrestling. Talk to us a little bit about that wrestling. Did some of that ability that you had, I'm sure a lot of it was innate, otherwise you wouldn't have been in the wrestling world. But that had to, some of the things that you did in wrestling had to transfer into the football world as a guard, certainly on the pro level.
I was a better junior high wrestler. I had better coaches in junior high. I learned a lot of it, and I was kind of on my own when I got to Jones High, and I think I only wrestled twice because a guy pinned me who I know shouldn't have beaten me, but I didn't have the knowledge. He had the knowledge and the skill, and he pinned me, and I never wrestled again. But you learn great balance dealing with other guys, because I was an unlimited weight wrestler. But you learn balance, foot placement.
There you go.
How to be quick and when to be quick. You know, Press. Running a route, it's about time, and coming out of the backfield for a swing pass.
Yes.
Check that tackle and see if you check your right tackle or left tackle, see if you need to bump him. If not, how much to bump him, and then get out there in that route late to give Roger, one of your other quarterbacks in Pittsburgh, Steeler a chance to throw you the ball. I ain't no Steeler fan, so I ain't finna ride with you on that.
Me neither, Nate.
But
me
the
neither,
Cowboys.
Nate. Me too.
Yeah.
So what got you to Florida A&M University? Was it?
It was all about the black college experience for me.
But it was all about football. It wasn't wrestling.
No, it was all about the black college experience. No, sir.
I see.
You actually want me to tell you, baby, I'll rock it with you.
Sorry about that.
Rock it with you. To me, we all grew up in an era. I'm 62. What you 65? And the gentleman next to you, what, about 50? I mean, I don't know y'all ages.
Were you expecting us to tell you or what?
Very close, very close, Nate.
I'm just throwing something out there. So I grew up in an era where we was just, I graduated in '79, but the black-white experience was still a focal point. Yeah. And I grew up around Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Classic every year. I grew up around a lot of black people. You hear people of different races say, well, I didn't see this person until I got this age. Well, I never really experienced dealing with whites until I probably got 7th, 8th grade. Everything about me growing up was black. Black neighborhood, black parents, teachers, preachers, ministers. When I got in junior high, 7th grade, that's when I had my first dealing with white folks. So don't take it in a bad way, y'all. I love everybody. I'm not that, that type of person. I love everybody. You can express, you can act.
Just telling it like it is.
But
keeping it real.
That is what I grew up around. So then I went to Jones High, 99% black. So even though Georgia, Notre Dame, Alabama, Florida State, University of Florida, although those guys recruited me, and I committed to Arizona Sun Devils, the great Frank Cush back then. I asked my coach, Coach Perry, man, no black colleges recruited me. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
No black colleges.
But all the other big ones did.
But not Grambling? Grambling didn't do it, Nate?
No, I think Grambling sent me a letter. Out of all the colleges, Grambling sent me a letter.
Right.
And so I asked my coach, Calvin Perry, who attended Florida A&M, I said, wow, coach, boy, you going to Arizona out here? I said, yes, sir. I said, fam, you didn't want me? He like, what? I said, Florida A&M didn't say anything or didn't send a letter. Yeah. And about 2 days later, I got a call from the head coach. And a week later, I was on a trip up there, and I told him, I said, I'm coming, I'm coming. I'm down with fam. Because I used to kind of cheer for fam when Bethune-Cookman would beat them in the classics back in the day. So, and it's just the black college experience, what I was used to, what I was happy to be around. And so that's how I got the fam. And the rest is history for us, making all MEAC. Playing and stuff like that, it's just that's how I was raised, and that's what I did, my friend. Yes,
wasn't
sir.
Too long ago where you got inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame, right?
Yes. That has been one of my biggest honors.
You had a couple of your teammates from the Cowboys join you for that?
Yes, Troy Aikman showed up, Deion Sanders, Darryl Johnson, Mark Stepnoski. Oh man, my God, that's one thing about our class, Preston, and that's one thing I like about when one of our guys going to the big Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
we show
Everybody
up.
shows up.
They send me an invite. I'm showing up, no matter how small it is or how large, and that's how it was when I played for the Cowboys. Troy, Mark Stepnoski, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley. I would throw a birthday party for my kid. Even Mr. Jones would come, or one of his kids would come to my son's birthday party. So that's just what we do for one another. That's how we rock and roll, man.
There's that loyalty, Nate.
Yep. And Nate, you did say one time I heard that these at the college, they were an event every time. Like every time you went out anywhere, it just seemed like such a big spectacle or an amazing fun time at Florida A&M. Is that true?
People say, what the black experience, what are you talking about? The black experience ain't a white thing or a black thing or this thing or that thing. The black experience was, we always was on a budget. Florida A&M was on a budget. I'm being honest. It's
right.
Like your mama, like your mom getting in that pot, some collard greens into something special. You look in there, there's a little pork in there, it's a little fat back in there. So that's just how it was. So at Florida A&M, our football games were an event.
Yeah.
You know, we had the
Awesome.
bands. You know, and it wasn't gonna be like
Oh.
you see the University of Texas or you see A&M and everybody just still, you know, we
Oh,
dance,
yes.
we rocking and rolling, bro. You know, our cheerleaders out there that were doing the latest dance, so everything was the event. Even when our sororities and stuff like that, everybody, you know, everything was special. You know, and so
Yes.
like homecoming.
Oh,
God. It was just a
bet
beautiful
it's some
thing.
fun.
Every day on the set, it's an event going on. It's eating over here. It's parties over there.
Ooh.
So everything is an event.
I
Most
hear you.
black colleges, because we ain't got nobody to write them checks, bro. You know, we ain't got nobody to write them old big old checks. They say they will, but they never show up.
All right.
That's good stuff.
All right. Talk
Good
about
stuff.
some of your teammates back there. By the way, there's one famous actor that went to Florida in A&M University, and I wonder if you recognize this gentleman.
Oh yeah, he went to Jones. What me and
Oh,
Wesley went to school together at Jones High.
Oh, you went to school
Did
with
you
him, man.
really?
Jay High.
But
Ah.
Wesley
Yeah,
Snipes?
my brother dated his sister.
Nino,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah, I know Wesley. Wesley know
Wow.
Big Noon. He know how to play with me. I mean, I like that
Yeah.
Bob Hayes. Now he went to Jacksonville with Jacksonville Rangers.
Bullet Bob.
He went to
He
Florida.
went to the
A&M.
same
That
school
guy
as
Nate.
went to Florida A&M.
Yes.
Bob Hayes. I mean, man,
Wow.
Bob Hayes.
Legend.
Bullet Bob Hayes.
The Rattlers of Florida A&M
Strike,
University.
Strike again. Yeah, man.
There's a couple of other guys I'd like to quickly mention. Ken Riley, who went to Cincinnati, played at Cincinnati. Al Denson, this is going way back. Hewitt Dixon.
Yeah.
And, of course, we already showed the great Bob Hayes with the Dallas Cowboys. And I think,
Fastest man on the
Blade,
planet.
Yeah.
yes,
And,
Blade.
see, I'm gonna give you something else, my brother. I'm gonna give you something else
okay.
that's gonna knock your socks off, baby. Because my brother Tim Newton went to Jones High, and he played for the Minnesota Vikings, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, we rock like that, bro. Jay High rock like that, baby.
You know, I didn't even know
Yeah.
you had a brother, to be totally
Yeah.
honest with you.
Man.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
he played.
congrats. Where's he
was a
now?
Kodak All-American at Jones High. He was a Kodak All-American.
Oh, wow.
Going into his senior year. I couldn't talk him into fam. Can I tell you a little story right quick? Can I
Sure.
tell y'all a story?
You have the stage, my friend.
Love
Go.
it.
This is so funny. I said, well, Tim, and see, Preston will tell you, this is the funny thing. You have to be ready for HBCU. That's what they call them. I call them black schools.
Yeah.
You have to be ready because, like I say, the budget is not there for everything, especially athletics. My brother, I said, Tim, you got to come to fam. You got to check us out because being a Kodak All-American, we ain't got to say. We know every school in the nation was going after my brother. He was a linebacker. He was a Kodak All-American linebacker, Timothy Reginald Newton.
Okay.
And so
9
he
years.
said, yeah, brother, I'm coming. Every time he would tell me that, he would kind of have that little disparaging. Oh, yeah, brother, I'm going to come visit y'all. You know, because he done been to Florida. He done been to other schools. And I ain't know, Florida had that little package deal. They call it ILU or whatever now. They call it, since it's legal now, they
You know,
NIL. Yep.
Yeah. So I ain't know they had
That's
their own
funny.
little package back then. So my brother came and visited me, visited fam. And I said, well, I told Coach Hubbard, I said, I don't want to be the one to take him around. You know, I want somebody else to take him around, show him a good
show
time.
him the place, yeah.
You know, and so he'll get a, you know, it won't be just his big brother
Right.
putting pressure on him. So they showed him around. I saw him that Friday. Then I saw him that Sunday because, you know, you're getting ready to go back because you got to get ready to go back to school.
Right.
And my brother looked me right in the eyes. He said, bruh. I said, what, bruh? He said, brother. I said, what? He
Do
said,
it.
how in the world are you surviving that family? And I'm like, what do you mean?
So he's older than you, Nate?
Florida.
Was he older than you, Nate?
Huh?
Was he older than you are?
No, he was
the
younger
big
than
brother?
me.
He's younger.
Okay, I got you.
He
I
was
got
younger
you.
than me, and he's
Gotcha.
saying, "Bro, how are you surviving up here?" I'm like, "Man, we have our own lunchroom, we have our own dorm rooms, we have this, we have that. Y'all got to go up there and eat with the regular folks." And I was like, "Bro, this is what we do at fam." He's like, "Well, I'm not gonna do it with you."
Oh,
And I
that
just
still
started
sounds like a
laughing.
great school.
Sounds
like a fun time.
I'm not gonna ask like what they give him because that wasn't my business, and I didn't want to go, be talking about that. He like, "Man, Florida taking care of me, man," and at that time he had a little baby girl at the time. He's like, "Man, they really taking care of me. They gonna look out for me." And he said, "What you think?" And he had this disparaging look on his face. I said, brother, go get taken care of.
Yeah.
Fam, you ain't gonna do it.
Not that way, anyway.
Not that
And
way,
you played,
bro.
and you played both ways at Florida A&M, correct? Offense and defense.
Yeah. I played.
Until you were a junior, right?
What it was, my freshman and sophomore year, I played defensive tackle, and my sophomore year I made all MEAC. But me, Nate Newton, being the knucklehead I was, missed spring training, and coach gave my job to another guy, a little young guy, and we're gonna put you on offense. I said, okay, and what do you think about that? You got to earn your way. I said, Coach. I looked him in the eye, Coach Rudolph. I said, Coach. I said, I had that job in about 2 weeks. And he just looked at me. I'm like, come on, man. I was supreme confidence. I'm like, in about a week and a half, I had that boy job.
Oh, wow.
And that was you were a tackle, yeah.
I was a tackle, yes, sir. I played right
So that's
tackle,
what got you.
Left tackle.
That's what got you being looked at or recruited by the NFL scouts, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, see, I was being recruited even when I was a defensive tackle.
Okay.
But when I was missing that spring, I got another story if y'all want to hear it.
Sure.
I love it.
It's your stage.
Love it.
It's your stage.
Wonderful.
So I'm missing spring training, right? And coach, because he wanted me to lose weight. Seemed like weight has always been hunting big. Anyway, they wanted me to lose some weight. And I'm like, you think I'm going to go out there and practice in this hot sun in Florida for 2 weeks or a month when I can just miss all the spring training, And so I'm walking around campus, not doing nothing, and I walk past this scout from Denver because I was down at the athletic training room doing something I ain't having no business doing. And I saw this guy say, "Sir, how you doing? You need some help?" Because he looked like he was like, "No, I just finished watching film, and I was looking for a guy at number 56. I think I was number 56 then. I had several different numbers." He said, "And it seemed like I can't find this guy." I said, "Well, what is his name?" He said, "Well, Nathaniel Newton." I said, "I'm that guy." He said, "Well, why aren't you out there on the field?" I said, "Well, Coach, I'm a little overweight." And I said, "Well, who are you?" He said, "Well, I'm a scout for the Denver Broncos, and we just looking at you, man. You look pretty good, man, but don't you think you need to be in practice?" I just started laughing and walked off, told him to have a nice day. I was like, wow.
Trey, if we can, pull up that shot of Nate's team. And Nate, tell us what year this is. I think you're number 64 on the front row.
64. No, I'm 68.
68.
I think I'm 68.
That's you. Oh,
right
look
there.
at you.
Wow.
Look at you.
Jeez.
Looking svelte.
Yeah, can we make that bigger? Because
Jeez,
I want to say this all the offensive linemen. Yeah, these are
Okay,
all offensive
I was going to say that's a small team.
Yeah, that's all the offensive linemen.
I mean, he looks completely put together. I don't know what anybody would even say. He's
you see
close to
right here,
fat.
this guy on my far right is number 70. That is Rufus Brown. He got a half a head cut off, and I'm on the left side with a half a head cut off.
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that, Preston. Look at that.
Yeah, we call ourselves the half a heads with roommates.
Oh, dude, I think that's cool. Good camaraderie. I like that, Nate.
Yeah. And back then, you could see I wasn't as big as most of the guys.
No.
No, you was put together great.
Yeah, see, the thing that I tell people, and I ran in the combine. Back, remember, Press, they used to have the Bledsoe combine where it was
Yes,
going to make 7
yes.
or 8 teams in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Yes,
I
I
was
do.
invited to that. And it's amazing
Wow.
because I ran a 4.9 40 back then.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, I ran a
4.9.
That makes me laugh because if I ran a 4.9 40 today, I would be no worse than the second round pick.
No worse.
No, because people, the underwear Olympics, people play that up big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve.
And Nate, real fast question. You know, as a nose tackle or a defensive tackle or like a one tech, why would they want you to lose weight? I mean, why wouldn't they want you as big as you can be to absorb that double team? I don't understand that.
No, the thing is, we played the old Ohio State 3-4 defense where you moved
Okay.
a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I was playing over the right tackle. We had a nose guard, right tackle, and I never played nose. That one technique. I played a 5 technique over the tackles, and you had to move. They wanted you moving, slanting, stunting, and we was always running games and stuff like that. We was a continuous
Gotcha.
moving, and Coach just had his ways. Coach Hubbard, great man. I mean, you talking about the dude gave me 800 chances. I mean, this young man, this older gentleman, now he's still alive. He should be in the Black College Hall of Fame as one of the greatest coaches in the deal. But he's a great man. I talk to him periodically. I mean, I asked him, I said, "Golly, Coach, you gave me a million chances. You could have kicked me off this team at any time." He said, "But I made a promise to your dad, Nate. I made a promise to your dad I was going to take care of you."
He lived up to
Classic.
it.
said,
What a
"Thank you,
coach.
Coach."
What
Okay.
a coach.
Well, from Florida A&M, you now get the opportunity to be looked at by the pros. My understanding is that the USFL
Yes.
drafted you, I believe is the word.
I was a territorial pick.
Territory.
Territorial
Territorial
pit.
pick,
Okay,
yes.
okay. And you decided not now for the USFL. You decided
Yes.
to be an undrafted free agent, and you signed with the Washington Redskins at that time, correct?
Deadskins. You got it right. Deadskins.
Well, now that hurts because we're both Cowboy fans, Nate, and so you going to them Redskins couldn't have been an easy decision.
I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan all my life.
Yes.
So I thought about that, but you know what? Back then they weren't giving out a lot of money. And the Washington Commanders, we're gonna get off the the old name. Washington Commanders offered
Right.
me a little bit more
To the
money.
Commanders. Yeah.
But I didn't know what I was walking into, y'all. I was walking into a Super Bowl team, a team that had competed
Yes.
in an
Yes.
NFC Championship game the year before.
And it's
And
choices.
I'm like, "Ooh."
Sure.
And,
Sure.
my-
But it
my
didn't
chance
last.
of making that team was hard, even though I had a real good chance of making that team. Like I said, I got a lot of stories. I know y'all don't want to hear them all.
Well, we're gonna move through this as quickly as we can, and we'll come back to the stories if
Well, I
we
love the
can.
stories, though, Nate.
But you were waived, right, from
Yes, they
Washington.
waived me the last cut. Yes, they did.
So
Reluctantly, they waived me.
You go back to the Bandits.
Yes, sir.
From the
Tampa Bay
USFL.
Bandits, baby.
Yes, Tampa Bay Bandits, and you stayed there and played there for what, 2 years?
2 years.
With Steve
2 years.
Spurrier. Coach
Yes,
Steve
sir.
Spurrier.
Great
Ah,
coach,
okay.
Steve Spurrier.
Wow.
Okay, so you enjoyed that being there.
You know what? If the USFL would have stayed, I'd have stayed with the USFL.
Uh-huh.
We was owned by Burt Reynolds and a
Really?
few other guys, a great owner out of Canada who had a brand of beer. I can't think of it right now. And they took care of us, man. I had Gary Anderson on that team, Eric Trevelyan on that team, which I played with at FAM. He was a quarterback at FAM when we beat University of Miami. And Eric Trevelyan, Tony Hayes, who I went to school with at FAM, he was there. Now he's been in Dallas for as long as I've been in Dallas. So we best friends. So he had season tickets as long as I
Wow.
was a Cowboy. So yeah, man.
Amazing how things
Yeah.
turn
And he
out.
was on the all-time USFL team. He's literally
yeah.
on the all-time USFL team. Nate Newton. Unbelievable. player.
When that folded, the USFL folds. Now the Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity. Who approached you first?
To be honest with you, like I said, I got a bunch of stories.
Quickly.
You got to understand, the night of the draft, I got a call.
The 1986 draft.
Yeah, the night of the draft, when they have a draft, they called, the Dallas Cowboys did. It was 83.
Yes.
I'm going back to 83.
Awesome.
They called, and they said, we would like to sign you. And about 5 minutes later, a dude knocked on my door. Now, I'm in an all-black neighborhood, so it's 8 o'clock at night. Here goes a white dude knocking on our door like, hey. They're like, what?
Oh, great.
Oh, that was so funny, man. I'm like, hold on, Daddy. Because he's like, I'm with the Dallas Cowboys. And evidently, it didn't bother him, but it shocked us more than it shocked him. It was funny.
You don't remember who that was?
I want to say it wasn't Walter Julius. It was one of the older guys.
Okay.
But this guy, he was old head. And anyway, if I had a picture, I wish I'd have got a picture with him that night, especially the look on me and my dad's face. But anyway, it was nice.
Okay.
And he offered me a contract. And I told him at the time I had an agent, and he would have to talk to my agent. And but when it all boiled down and my agent talked to several teams, I was like, out of all the teams, the Steelers called, the Cowboys came by, Tampa Bay, and the Washington Commanders. And I'm like, out of all the teams that can offer me this little bit of money, $7,500 or $4,500, it had to be the Washington Commanders. Come on, man. My least favorite team.
Yeah, growing up mine too.
Money talks, though, doesn't
It makes you holler, baby. It makes you holler.
Darren Woodson said he had amnesia because he was a Steeler fan. Once he got that big check, he said he had amnesia. He never thought about the Steelers again.
Oh, yeah. When he was a second-round pick, Woody was one of the greatest athletes ever played for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, quiet as kept. This dude was an ultra.
We brought it out last week
Yeah.
with Woody. And all of you guys were, you guys were probably, and I say this because I played on some very, very good teams, but
Yes,
the
you
teams
did.
that you're talking about here right now, I got to say from both sides of the football, probably had to be the best, if certainly in the top echelon of all-time Dallas Cowboy teams, not just players. I'm talking about teams. Okay, that's for another program.
Yeah.
We might invite you back to talk about that too.
I hope so.
So, you get drafted by the Cowboys, and it was Tom Landry, right? Who was
Free agent.
Free agent at that time. So what was your first thought when you got to camp with the Cowboys?
Well, what happened was the USFL folded.
Right.
USFL folded because they came at the first time during the draft, and I turned them down for the Washington Commanders.
Right.
Then the next time, we went into litigation, had a court deal against the NFL, and we got $3. We won $3.
That was with Donald Trump. That was with Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, now he's getting $100,000 a plate a person. He a good man. He really picked up his game. I ain't mad at it. But anyway, he was in Dallas the other night, $100,000 a plate. Man says that couples is like that's one per person. So if you bring your wife, that's another $100,000. They brought their wives. But anyway.
That's a political story.
So we get $3. He wins the USFL $3 and gets $100. But anyway, don't be mad. So when I flew to 3 different teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, back to the Washington Redskins, and I pulled a hamstring. I had never pulled a. How I do 350 pounds gonna pull a hamstring running? So I did that with Kansas City, and they're like, "Well, Mr. Newton, we getting ready to give us rat for training camp or rat during training camp." Like, well, you got hurt. Sorry, we'll sign you. And you know how that was, Press. They'll sign you after the season start and tuck you away and let you work out. You know what I'm saying? Put you in give you a little stipend and tuck you away and hide
Keep you away, yeah.
Keep you away from the other teams. Well, the Washington Commanders wanted to do that too. And I'm like, okay, I got one more visit because I was going to go back with them. I said, let me go see Dallas because that was my team growing up. I'm like, man, I'm going to get to meet Coach Landry. I hope I'm going to get to meet Coach Landry.
Wow.
So I flew in, and y'all were in Thousand Oaks.
Correct. Training camp, right.
Thousand Oaks. I'm like, and all these pictures I used to see, and I used to even get little cards, man, the Cowboys. I don't know how I got them little cards of Coach Landry in the outdoor weight room and stuff like that, and Thousand Oaks. And so I'm up at Thousand Oaks, and Gil Brandt is talking to me, and that's who really kept an eye on me, the great legendary Gil Brandt. He kept an eye on me from college to the USFL,
to the Commanders, all the way through.
And so when I got into Thousand Oaks, I didn't think they was going to work me out. And I said, yeah, well, I got a slight hammy at KC, and he said, well, we just want to do a little something with you. We're not going to strain you. And so Ernie Stotner and Coach Jim Meyer, and I think, and I want to say, what was our strength coach? What was our strength coach name?
Bob Ward.
Bob Ward. They like, okay, we're gonna work him out. And so I go over to the equipment room, right? And Jerry Fowler and Buck Buchanan over there. And Buck, he a gentleman. He ain't gonna see him crack. But Jerry Fowler, like, who is this guy? This is a guy we're gonna work out.
He's the assistant equipment guy for the Cowboys.
He said, Coach, we ain't got no clothes to fit him. We about to sew two extra, because the biggest they had at the time was extra large, because all they had was linemen that was 270 and smaller. And
what did you weigh?
Two extra larges together to get a triple X to get them in the pants. I found a couple of old Rydell double X pants I stretched into, and a shirt that was too small.
What did you weigh at that time, Nate?
Probably about 340. Okay. About 340, 345.
And you were a tackle, Nate, at this time at 340?
I was a guard.
A guard now. Okay, so you moved to guard.
And,
yes.
And so,
wow.
They wanted to work me out, right? And so, Ernest Stratner and Coach Jim Meyer over there, they laughing. They laughing. They laugh like, wow, and so I heard, they had, how back then Coach didn't believe in rolling on the ground, bear crawling. You know how Coach them would do you, man. Going up ropes and all of this stuff, and monkey bars and pulling and swinging, and kind of like, golly, man, all this stuff. It just see, could you play football? How could you build football? But anyway, they had their method. And so I overheard Coach Stotner tell Coach Jim Meyer, it was the offensive line. Ernest Stotner was a Hall of Fame
defensive line coach.
Right. And he was a Hall of Fame defensive tackle too. So anyway,
yes.
I heard him say, hey, man, when he get ready to do these pull-ups, I promise you he can't get 5. And they made a bet.
Ooh.
They made a bet. He said, well, I just bet you. I don't think he'll make it. That was Coach
And
Miles.
You heard that, right?
So I heard that. So they didn't know I was an athlete up under all that fat. They didn't know that the fat man has some athletic ability. So I got up there on the bars. I jumped up, to the bars, because they thought I was going to go up the little ladder. I jumped up there, right? That's the first time they kind of looked, So I pulled up on the first one real easy. Then the second one, I got halfway in with the straining. Then the third one was even harder. But then the fourth and fifth one, I said, well, give him his money, Coach.
Nice.
Give him his money. He just looked at me.
That convinced him right then and there.
And Preston, Nate at that time, too, I mean, not only did he get to block for Emmitt Smith, but at that time frame, you had Tony Dorsett and Herschel Walker here right before you get to go to Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest regrets, is that I did not. I was not an accomplished blocker. That was my biggest regret for Tony.
Really?
Because you got to understand, I watched Tony from Pittsburgh. I watched him with the Cowboys. Don't you know? I'm like, I'm gonna get a chance to block for But Tony Dorsett, but the offense was so complicated.
Yeah.
Our offense was under Coach Landry were rival to today's offenses. Coach was kind of ahead of his game back then, and the game has evolved around more to what Coach Landry does than people want to admit. But I wasn't. It would have took me forever to learn his offense, and so that hurt me with being able to be the best I could for Tony Dorsett, you know. But now Emmett came, they had simplified that offense.
Yeah, everything was man on man at that time.
Yeah, it was about you line up on me and I line up on you, and
let's get at it.
I was gonna put that
notorious. What did I say? Notorious, territorial. That's exactly what you guys were, and you guys were awesome. Can we put up, Trey, a shot of the coach that he started with here in Dallas? Everybody knows this shot. That is an awesome shot of Coach Tom Landry, and that's the way he looked most of the time.
Yeah,
legendary man and coach right there. And there's a shot of Big Nate.
Yeah, man.
I mean, one of the best in the business.
That's a stop in the wall that I've been trying to tell you guys about. Even in the Great Wall of China, there were stops. There were places where you had to stop. Nate was one of those stops where you couldn't get through. Notorious, territorial, protective. Anybody, go ask Troy Aikman about the Great Wall of Dallas. And he'll tell you all of those guys were stops. Nobody was getting through. I think at one time or 1 year, you guys had the fewest sacks.
Oh, yeah. We was always in the top 5.
Always.
After we learned how to be offensive linemen, how to be pros, because our first 2 or 3 years we had coaches that did not adapt their system to us. And Coach came in, Coach Norv Turner, Coach Johnson, adapted the offense to fit his offensive line. And we took off, man. Tony Wise. You know, while we
throw that shot up of his coaches, Trey.
Pulling around, doing all these crazy things. Let's let these guys just roll grade folks. And that's what we did, man. They
Jimmy
go to
Johnson.
Little Maniac.
You were amazing too, Nate. You guys were amazing.
Yeah, that coach, coach. That's my man, Coach Jay, bro. Coach Jay defended me, man, when they wanted to kick me out of here, man.
You remember this shot, Nate?
Yeah.
This is Coach Johnson deciding that Nate needed a little work, and he decided that after, I don't know if he beat you in this race or not.
No, he thought he could, man. Like a lot of people, they misjudged the fact.
But you were tired. You have to admit.
I was tired, bro. But
you were tired after that race.
But Preston, you know, our race ain't a 4-mile race.
That's right.
Race is about 35 quick plays within 30 seconds.
Yes, that's right. That's all you need, right?
30 seconds.
That's all you need.
Give me 30 seconds. I'm back ready to go. I'm full go again. I can energize a bunny, baby.
All right, now let's talk about your other teammates for instance here, and then we'll get to talking about the present-day team. Alongside you, to your immediate right, if you're facing outward, was Mark Stepnoski. He had to be the smallest guy on your offensive line, but he was such an accomplished center. He knew about what you knew about wrestling, balance, hand placement. All of those things for a guy that size with that kind of strength was perfect for the two guys to his left and to his right. Perfect.
Yes. You talking about a guy that knew leverage. Just uncanny, way stronger than people thought.
Mm-hmm.
But great hips, great feet, great hand placement. And just smart out of this world, man. When you know how they would like for us, Press, to know each person's position was. He went past offensive line. He knew what the wide receivers was doing. He knew what
running back
Troy was thinking.
This
dude, ultra smart.
Yes.
University of Pittsburgh, man.
Yep. And
he's a good center.
To your right at that time, in 92, 93, was a guy that people forget about. John Giesecke, I believe, was number 63. There he is. Good shot at him. Another one of those cerebral guys that I believe he came to Dallas from Oakland at that time.
They traded for him from Oakland, man, and I can't believe they let John up out of there, man. He the mayor of Capel now. I mean, he got his hands. He's a construction guy. Build a lot of things in Plano. I mean, smart, super smart, a gentleman, first class.
Yes. And then on the outside at the left tackle position, right next to you, and what a tandem you guys became. He left us a little early, but Mark Tuinei handled some of the best defensive linemen in the game and handled them extremely well. There's a shot at Mark.
You know what bothers me, and this is what I try to tell the local media. You block Lawrence Taylor one week, you block Clyde Simmons the next week, you block AJ Jr. the next week, then you go over and you block the best guy from the 49ers. They had several great defensive ends and outside linebackers. I mean, Tuinei, and you know back in the day, the NFC East, the whole NFC East was just nothing but all-stars.
Yes.
And a lot of these guys are sitting in the Hall of Fame, and Tuinei blocked all of these guys with great success.
Strahan being one of them.
And just because he was quiet, wasn't a loud mouth, real smart gentleman, he didn't get the pub that he needed. And I'd be like, wow. And I see guys that go into the Hall of Fame now, which I've never had anything against the Hall of Fame, because you do have to be great to get there. But wow, it just, they could have did a better job with Mark Tuinei.
Well, the Hall of Fame is
100%, Nate.
Say what now, gentlemen?
Oh no, I said I agree with you 100%. Emmitt Smith loved Mark Tuinei too. You still hear him talk about him. Say it was one of the big reasons, and to see why he's not a potential or in the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. He was a absolute wonderful tackle for our team.
You know, the thing that gets us is we were the team of the 90s, hands down.
Yes.
Oh, no question.
The one drawback that Coach Landry, Mr. Gilbrandt, the great Tex Ram, and even the owner, they did not publicize offensive linemen at all. You've had several offensive linemen that played with Preston and before Preston that were great.
Yep.
Great offensive linemen. But they only talked about the skill position players.
Yes.
And Coach Johnson them kind of continued that thing for a little while of only talking about skill position players.
Well, they were called the Zero Club, right, Preston? The Zero Club. They weren't supposed to get any type of recognition, the linemen in the 70s, from what Charlie Waters used to say.
Well, the thing about it, though, but the Steelers didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
True. No, you're so right. I agree with you there. I really do, Nate.
Well,
see, and that's just how it went, man. And I ain't mad at them because.
And that's what you. That's the reason you have to take it like what you're saying, Nate. You have to move on because
you have to
recognize that the Hall of Fame makes mistakes, and they've continued to do that. We had a guy on last week, Darren Woodson, who probably belongs in the ring. Probably belongs in the Hall of Fame.
So,
it's two
all right.
people.
So one other addition to that offensive line.
Before you move on, Press, let me say this before you move on.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
There's only two people that I've said the Hall has truly missed, and it took them with one person. They finally got him in. They waited too long for Bob Hayes because he changed the game.
True.
That's one of the criteria.
100% right, Nate.
And now you got Darren Woodson, who was one of the first safeties to ever start covering slot receivers. He changed the game, but I just want to say that, man. Thank you for letting me say that.
No problem, Nate. And you're right on the money with that.
Right on the money.
Okay, we don't want to leave out a couple of other gentlemen that was on that great
Big Nasty
wall, and that would be Big Nasty, who played
Man.
right outside at right tackle, and that would be the Big E. And the Big E earned a reputation of notorious because he took on the preacher man from Philadelphia. Nate,
the minister.
I know who you know. I know who I'm talking about here.
We do.
That would be Reggie White. Eric Williams took him on, and Trey.
Yes, he changed.
He head slapped him.
Go ahead and show us a shot if we have of Eric Williams, because he was critical.
The rules, right, Nate? That head slap was so vicious, they had to change the rule on that. He was slapping everybody in the head, and they had to change the rule.
He changed the face of the Cowboys with the way he played. We went from a finesse team to a straight dominant physical team. Eric changed the face of how people thought of us. And Eric, I mean, we played a physical brand of football with Eric. And it just too bad he had an incident where he had a major wreck, and he was on his way to the Hall of Fame. And that's sad. I mean, because
yes, it is.
But
yes.
Once again, he's doing a great job. He's got a great foundation up in Delaware. And so he's helping people and helping veterans and helping kids. So, Preston, one thing I want to say about the Dallas Cowboys, if you just got an ounce of sense and you become a Dallas Cowboy and you do your job like me and you have over the years, Preston, it's always going to be something for us to do. There's always going to be a way to rub a couple of nickels together, because that's just how it is.
A couple of reasons why it's called America's team, and of course, it's international.
You earned that, both of you.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, I am not upset. This little background of this house, this Dallas Cowboys, baby, rub a few nickels together and put some wood up, and you got a house, baby.
All right, a couple other names we have to mention quickly on the Great Wall of Dallas. Kevin Gogan, number 66, was a big part of that. I think another name, Derek Kennard.
Yes, sir. Big baby.
And one other one was Ray Donaldson.
Ray Donaldson was mean, bro.
Who took over at center when Mark Stepnoski left us.
Ray Donaldson was mean, bro.
There's a shot of Ray.
Yeah,
and
Ray
of course,
we got him from the Colts.
We can't leave out one other gentleman as a part of the Dallas Cowboys Great Wall, and that would be Hall of Famer Larry Allen.
Man,
that was the man.
Gosh,
we called him in our locker room. In our room, we called him the Weebler, the Wobbler. You can knock him, you can roll him, but you can't knock him off his feet.
Oh, I remember that Weebler, man. Yes.
Well, for a guy,
superhuman strength too, guys. Superhuman strength.
This dude could not be knocked off his feet, man.
He was a great athlete, and I'm not sure if I included it in our edited videos, but I remember there was a highlight of an interception, I believe, the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, Monday Night Football.
And Larry Allen actually ran down. Here's a shot of it. There's the linebacker who catches it. And Larry Allen, there he is in your far right.
Guys.
Look at this. 335 pounds.
All he can get.
We got to take another look at this.
Right.
Now pay attention. That's Larry Allen, 330 or whatever it is. It shows his athletic abilities, and as a part of the notorious, gifted Cowboys Great Wall of Dallas.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it was an interception. Let's take a quick look at it by Troy. And there's a linebacker who got it. But look at this. Larry Allen is over here on the left side. He's still standing here. See him right there in the middle?
He was
73.
Yes, he was.
Okay, here he comes. Look at this. 335, folks. Now that
just
That
Unbelievable.
is Hall of Fame material.
Yes, sir.
And he
man.
saved Troy from having to take that lick right there at the end, too. So if we don't get there, Troy's going to have to do something to stop him.
Troy, I don't think Troy
saved the
was
leg.
going to stop that one. All right, there you got a look at the Great Wall of Dallas, headed up by our special guest, Nate Newton. Now we want to talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys today, Nate. And what I want to do is kind of zero in on the last couple of offensive linemen that the Cowboys took. Tyler Smith got a great start. Was his second or third year in the league. He's got a great start. He's got a great number on. That's for damn sure. Excuse my
Right.
language.
Yes, no, absolutely. Look at that look he gives, too. He's intense. Good
He's
football
very
player.
intense, and that's a good thing.
love
Nate,
it.
talk a little bit about him, if you would. What are your thoughts on him as an offensive lineman?
I think you mentioned he's physical, he's intense, he wants to be good, he works at being good. So he's with the right coach, and Mike Solori. We can always clean up our hands. I mean, he's got better feet than he thinks, and he don't trust in his feet enough, and so that tends to give him 2 or 3 holding penalties a year, and he can easily clean that up if he just continue to believe in his feet. He's got great athletic ability, and he's got the right intensity to dominate. I think some of that times when he's dominating, instead of letting the guy go, he want to throw the guy on the ground or snatch the guy or be physical. You don't have to always do that because this is anywhere from 65 to 80 plays in the game. You can always get a dude. You know that pressure. It's always a time you can get a dude, so you ain't got to just beat him up every down. So there's going to be plays where you're going to be able to get him.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Nate? Give us your thoughts on that guy, Nate. My co-host here.
What? I totally agree. I think he is. I mean, to come in his rookie year and be able to go out there when Tyron Smith got hurt and be able to play tackle or guard and to really not miss a beat, Nate. He went in there and literally, he shut that side down to where we almost thought he was going to stay over there. So staying at guard, is a luxury for us, especially with Tyler Guyton coming there, 6'8", 325 pounds. So it was nice to be able to keep him there, but how smart this guy is, how physical Tyler Smith is. We were very, very lucky to get him with that 23rd pick, and I'm glad we took him.
All right, guys, let's move right into this year's first-round draft choice, Tyler Guyton. And remember this, they now have on the left side TNT, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, this is a shot of Tyler Guyton at Oklahoma.
Yes.
He's a transfer from TCU. But this is a big man, too.
Yeah, he's tall, and as you see, he's trim. He got a nice bottom to him, nice long arms, nice long torso.
Yes, he does.
The thing about it is he needs every rep that he can get at that left tackle. And, you're watching the mini camps, and they got, I've never understood this, press. When we open up against Cleveland, that's who's going to be facing Myles Garrett, not the other guy they got sitting.
Right.
I hate. Yeah. Don't mess around. Get this guy every rep. Because he'll be going against Michael Parsons.
Yep.
So you'll get the best looks possible. So give him every rep, but he'll be going against our other guy. I can't think our other guy plays on the other side that's been with us for years. But yeah, you don't waste
Terrence
time
Steele.
with a guy like this.
Terrence Steele.
And what I like about Tyler Guyton,
DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm talking about defense.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, sir.
He's going to be rushed by
Parsons in
and
practice.
DeMarcus Lawrence. Give him every rep against first-team talent. I don't want him going against no rookies. Forget the rookies.
Right.
I want him going against the first-team talent so he can get all the looks he can get, because I'm telling you, that dude from Cleveland,
he's going to be ready.
He's a monster.
Beast.
I
want him to be ready for that.
Okay, so we've got maybe the left side. What about center? They lost the center from last year.
Yes.
Went to Washington. So what are you thinking here, Nate? Go ahead.
They have Brock Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
He's a suitable guy, great backup guy, good team guy. But once again, you took a third round on Cooper
Yeah.
Beebe. You
Yes.
don't mess around.
Put him in there.
Put him in there. I mean, you don't get with so many practices nowadays in training camp. You don't get with 3 preseason games. I would like to know by the second preseason game, has he adapted to center? I don't want him to miss a rep.
Yeah.
I don't want him to
That's
miss
a great point, Nate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
he's such a, they brought him in too, and being 6'4", 330 pounds or something like that. Do you see him, Nate, real quick, in case, Zach Martin's getting a little bit older, a wonderful player. Do you see us maybe moving him one day over to that spot? Because he plays a little nasty. He plays a little bit like that. Do you see him staying at
no.
center or stay?
You need a center. Right now, the Cowboys need a center, like
Yes.
a hog needs slop. Put that kid in there at center, and let's find out, can he be that guy? He's ultra, ultra smart. They say he one step from being an astronaut. That's how smart he is.
Whoa.
So he's ultra smart. He's ultra nasty. They say he can wallow in the mud.
I
with
love
the best
that.
of 'em. So let's put him at center, and let's see what he can do. And that way, if Zach Martin go down, we got T.J. Bass.
That's
We
right.
still don't know
TJ.
what Austin Richards can do.
Right.
So we got depth and
Yes.
of young players. So let's put the best 5, the 2 draft picks, Steele at your right tackle, who's already
Right.
got through last year. He got through the last year woes with the blown knee. So now we
Yes.
got an offensive line. We just got to get them together and let them mesh.
Excellent. I agree, Nate.
Okay, so that sounds like the offensive side of the ball. What are you thinking, Nate, defensively? We lost some people there. We
yes,
got
sir.
some
We
people
lost
coming
some
back. Diggs
Yeah.
is coming back, and I believe the linebacker from Texas, I can't
Yeah,
call his
Overshawn.
name.
Marion
Overshawn.
Overshawn.
They have to take I don't like rushing players back, even though they are surgically and medically able to clear. I've watched over the last few years teams that take their time. Like I thought Steele was rushed back too soon. It's one thing to be surgically and medically cleared, but in your mind, you ain't seen.
Not quite ready.
Yeah, I can look at that
Right.
right hand all day long. It can be fixed, got screws in it. But if I'm going to punch and if I'm a boxer, it's going to take a minute.
Yes.
So the only way you can do football these days, because they have so many days off, you go from 0 in training camp, hardly no plays, to 100 miles an hour, the game of a day, the day of the game, and they go do like Myles Garrett. I've been getting this surgically repaired knee rehab, and the only work I got is a few pass rushes. You think he's ready for Myles Garrett? So
No.
I want Overshawn
No, he is not.
to be brought in slowly. I want Diggs. If it takes 4 games,
Good point, Nate.
So what? If it takes 4 games, so I believe that, Press. I mean, don't underestimate our game. Don't, you can't do it in basketball. You can't do it in soccer. So why do you just bring guys straight back cold turkey in football? Come
Wow.
on, man.
That's
We
hard
lose
to
our
argue that,
legs too
Preston.
much.
Right.
We
That's
lose our
good. That's a
legs
good
too
point.
much.
Right.
All right, Nathan Ross, you've seen the schedule. What are your thoughts on the schedule? Is it going to be an easier way to go, tougher, with these young guys coming in, second, third year players filling in? What's the Cowboys season going to look like? Your comments first.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I think that we've have a formula right now through Will McClay that the next person steps up, and we've been doing that for a while now. So I think, that first part of that schedule is going to be tough. But I do see, besides that Raven game, I mean, I'm looking at it. I think we can go to the Lions. I mean, we can go 4-2 to 5-1. I do believe that. I think if we can get in there and, run our offense, play some good football the way Dak can lead this team, CeeDee Lamb. And there's a lot of assumptions. Like Woody said last week, we don't know for sure everything, who's going to be there, who's going to be hurt. But if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at our schedule, I really think that this is a year we can go 11-6, and I think really win our division. I really do. I'm not just saying that as a Cowboy homer, but that is a true opinion that I have.
Newt?
Let me say this right here.
I get in trouble.
I've never ever picked the Cowboys to lose.
Never picked them to what?
I've never picked the Cowboys to lose.
To lose.
Since I was a kid. I've always believed that is a will is a way, but it takes players to have that will in that way, and sound coaching. If you got sound coaching and great players, you can win. But the bottom line is, I always try to tell the truth. And you have, when the season starts, you ask me what the record going to be. I'm 17-0. Right now, building this team, Woody said it. Nathan has just said it. You don't know what this thing is going to bring. We don't know CD, his situation, Parsons, Dak, all these situations. We lost Armstrong, who I thought was a great run stopper.
Yeah.
Overshown is young. My kid from Florida A&M last year did a great job, but he's not a linebacker. He's a safety. Bell.
What are your thoughts on Mozzie Smith?
He got to make me think. He got to make me think. This kid has not done a thing. I don't think anything. You have to make me think. And now you got Mike Zimmer bringing in a 4-3 defense, 2 linebackers. He run 2 linebackers, but they're going to be 2 linebackers. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to be a safety and a hybrid safety, slash linebacker. So I wish we had more time, man, because I will run this thing down to you. If the Cowboys don't dominate the first half of this schedule, they don't dominate the first half of this schedule, they're going to win the second half. They're going to have to win some games. You don't want to come out of here like the young man said, Nathan. You want to be up until the San Francisco game. They get a bye before San Francisco.
Right.
Yes.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games you've been on play. You want to be 4-2. 3-3 at the worst, because the San Francisco game, you already have a mental block.
That's right after the bye.
That's going to be a turning point game for them.
Right after the bye, you got Detroit, Pittsburgh.
Good point, Nate.
Giants, New York, the Baltimore Ravens, Saints, and the Browns before all of that.
Every one of these teams are physical. You just named they are physical. What is the Cowboys' biggest kryptonite? The word physical. Whenever they meet a team of equal or greater ability that plays with physicality, they seem to nudge us. Green Bay had no reason playing with us last year. They came in, it was very, very physical, and it made us look like we hadn't even prepared. And I talked to a lot of the people, Mr. Stephen Jones, I talked to the head coach, I talked to the offensive line coach, and they said these guys are ready, they amped, and they prepared. We moved a whole promotional team out to the stadium and everything, Preston, Nathan. We moved everybody out there. We had the Cowboy Nation out there, and they came out and hit us in our mouth, and we looked like they took the air out of us. And that was the 49ers did it to us. Every team, the Ravens going to look at that film with a hard ball. They're going to say, man, we're going to be physical. Cleveland Browns. That's why I keep bringing Myles Garrett. That's why I want Guyton to get every rep. That's why I want BB to get every rep, because we have to be a more physical team. We can beat 100%. The finesse teams, or we can beat the athletic teams. But when they come in with a mental, that's like when the Cowboys used to play the Steelers. The Steelers were always a little bit more physical. Coach Landry got everybody moving, shifting, and Jack Lambert used to say they'll quit shifting in a minute, and we're gonna hit them in their mouth. As soon as they quit shifting, I'm telling the press.
Yeah, they did. I was there. I know.
I got it.
In a minute, we're gonna hit them right in their mouth.
All right. So could all of that attitude or poor attitude change now that we have some coaches that exhibit that kind of attitude. Now we're coming
think
back
so.
to these new coaches. I was talking to Nate Ross earlier. Talk to us about the new coaches that we have on board that could be the biggest difference of all for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's related to what Nate Newton has just said.
Yeah.
Physicality.
Yes. Well, Jeff Scanina, if I said it right, I think that he, being playing that 17 years, won a Lombardi championship with the Rams. He brings from what I hear, Nate would know more than this, but from what I hear, he brings a really good intensity to the line, which is something that we need. Scanina, Coach Jeff Scanina, he's our new defensive line coach. Right. And, so he's been in the NFL for 17 years, played for 8 teams, and coached for, I think, like 5 or 6 teams. But I heard that he's a very intense. Coach Zimmer liked him, so Coach Zimmer wouldn't let him come in without him bringing that physicality.
Well, he was up at Washington coaching that defensive line, and guess what they have up there? Very physical defensive line. That's what I like.
That's what I heard about him too.
And from what I've heard, he don't take no crap.
Yeah,
much like Mike Zimmer. So you got the two Z's.
Is doing that together.
Yes. Greg Ellis. I forgot Greg.
Yes.
I forgot Greg was there. Yes.
Greg Ellis,
great person and player.
Okay, so do you think the coaching staff will be a big difference for the Cowboys this year, attitude-wise?
Because they're going to hold them responsible to doing their jobs.
Yes.
Coach, as great as Coach Quinn was,
yes,
he started letting guys kind of freelance. He started trusting guys. And
he put his arm around them too much.
Yeah, and see, until you show me that you're a team guy first, and let me say, just give me 10 seconds. I tell people say Mike Irvin was selfish. They like, no, Mike Irvin was a leader. He was a leader. He is a leader to this day.
Love Michael Irvin.
A team guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew if he wanted to be as great as he wanted to be, he had to connect with his team. Mm-hmm. Mike wanted every ball to be thrown to him.
Right.
Mike wanted every camera to be in front of him. Mike is a selfish guy. But he was team first in order to get that selfish success. Mm-hmm. And that's what Parsons has to become.
Yes.
A team guy, and now you can get all the accolades. And everybody going to
great analogy,
because you're going to look out for your team.
Yes.
Right.
You can't tell me the greatest players in the world are not selfish players.
Yes.
Right. Boy.
Right on.
Great analogy.
He's hitting those nails right on top of it. I agree with him solely. And as far as the coaches are concerned, it has to come down to Mike McCarthy being the lead guy, the offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, and Mike Solari on the offensive side. On the defensive side, the two Z's, Mike Zimmer and Jeff. How's it pronounced?
Scanina.
Scanzina.
Jeff Zucchini. Tell him he made great zucchini.
Zucchini. He's a zucchini. Nate Dogg said that.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap things up, but I wanted to end with naming the other two coaches that I think are critical.
Yeah.
Scott McCurley, who's the linebackers coach. You got some new guys coming in.
That's big.
Yes.
Yep.
He's got to get these guys that were hurt. The just retired player, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head, who's now retired, is out of there. And from a coaching standpoint, Al Harris.
Yes.
DB's coach.
Oh, Al Harris is
now.
Huge. He's huge for us. People love him.
All of those aspects of the Cowboys roster has to step up now in order for the Cowboys to be contenders. I'm not going to predict a number of games. I just think that certain things have to happen before they can even start thinking about winning, okay? Certain people have to step up. coaches have to do their jobs. These new players coming in have to mesh and, like Nate said earlier, grow into their positions. If all of that happens, we can be talking about something like
17-0. But I love Nate as a fan.
I'll put it this way. They can be talking about something like what the 1975 team did. And that's surprise and shock everybody and go to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it.
That was real back then, boy. That was real.
Yeah.
That was real. That was real. So
you're a big part of that too, Preston.
we gotta end things, guys. Nate, this has been great.
God, so much fun. Jeez.
We are honored to have you on board. We certainly appreciate you coming on board with us and talking to us about your career, your life in the NFL, certainly from your life back in the day.
J-High, baby, to the day I die, baby.
That's why we love having you on board. So if you want to enjoy what we just witnessed and heard, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, which is Twitter, only on audio, TikTok, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Next week, Jesus. Nate, get this. Next week, we're going to have the voice of the Dallas Cowboys on with us.
Brad Sham.
Brad Sham.
Awesome.
Remember that now, folks, listening to us right now. The voice of the Dallas Cowboys is going to join us next week. Yeah. So make sure you join us as well. All right, Nate, as we always say, here we go.